what we now have is Excel open, and what we'll do next is open the CSV file that we created, and ours was called Spend Money Export, so let's just find that. There it is, and open this file. Now the first thing you'll notice is that being a CSV file, it needs a little bit of formatting. For those of you not familiar with Excel, it is a delimited file such as commas and tabs, which is what we selected, and then when you go into the next field, just select the comma and you'll get this nice series of lines that separates all the information for you, and then effectively we can now do a finish. Now we end up with the data in an Excel spreadsheet, and the formatting of this data then is the exact formatting we're going to need when we create the spreadsheet where we're going to put the information from the bank. And this is what's really important. What we're doing here is looking at how this information presents from the export of the accounting file, so you know exactly what it should look like when you create the import CSV file from your bank. Now just to explain this in terms of MyOb, there are all your headings. They're the 9 fields that we created. Now in terms of the transaction, note some important things here. This line here has the bank account number. 11110 is the MyOb bank account number. There's a date. There's the company last name. As I mentioned, we don't necessarily need that field, but MyOb can error if you don't create it. There's the information in the details or the memo section. There's the allocation account, which is blank because the account for the bank is here, so we don't need another one here. In effect, this is the first entry of a double entry transaction. The exclusive tax amount, the inclusive tax amount, not a lot of logic in this. Clearly that's the figure in the bank. This is yet another figure. Nevertheless, it's formatting required for MyOb. There's no tax code because it's gone to the bank, and there's no tax amount for the same reason. Now the next line is effectively the expense line. We have a date, we have the description, we have an allocation account, 61005 is the accounting account number for the accounting expense. We now have the tax exclusive amount. The amount is 500 because there's no GST when you put it through because it's shown net. We have the inclusive amount. Again, that's a data field that's in MyOb. We have to have a GST code if you want to make sure the GST is coded, and we have the amount of tax concerned for GST in regards to that transaction. And this is another important point. This line here, it is blank, and that is critically important. The way MyOb reads the information, it needs a blank line between every entry. Now don't panic, in a later chapter I will show you how to easily create blank lines and format fields in this way. But this is how the export file looks, so this is how your import file looks, and it has to be exactly the same.